Shapar, which means horn. Yayun, which means wine. Salak. Salak. La Yashala, which means to Israel. Shapar, which means horn. And Majim in the room. So Punjab Kabdum, which means stand, turn, face the east. The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa. Bashamayah. Kadashaya. Shimka. Yahweh. Malaka. Tabah. Ratizaka. Hayah. Aisha. Baratata. Kawak. Hayah. Bashamayah. Lamuno. Wacham. Kalimu. Wasalakno. Kawakno. Kasalakno. Kawakno. Wala'ah. Abiyana. Bansai one. Above. Hoshanu. Mayuni. Ra. Kaya. Aka. Malakwa. Wa'ala. Wataparat. Lawulumium. Aman. In English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Pray for the power structure in Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shah, Wa Ma'yaka'al, Wa Alahai, Matazab Yahweh Wap Yahan. Halawap, Hasrun, Haprasyan, Hachayali, Wahab Wati, Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shah, the Wadamun. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shah, and Mike, and the angels. Command the General Yahan, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and assistants. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shah. Thank you. So be it. Pray for the prophesied curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh. King of heaven and earth. And all things living. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shah. Listen to us now. Right now. Send evils and curses. There's punishment and destruction. To the heathens. That speak against us. Thy prophets. The teachers. The princes. The priests. The Israelite brothers. And the school. Send evils and curses. Punishment and destruction. To the heathens. To shake loose. The treasure of the rich of Israel. They refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the Edomites and the nations and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, posse comitatus, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space programs, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet and the airwaves, the cable access channels, and the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them But the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahushua, Michael and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathens that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause to be spread through the media, throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake it thy coming. In the name of Yahushua, thank you always. So be it. And Masar face the front. And Yeshabim, which means be seated. We are right here back in the Sabbath service, picking up where we left off. And we've made it to the Passover story at just the perfect time. We made it to the Passover story, and it is almost Passover. Time flies. Shalom, shout out to everybody in the chat. Everybody make sure that you have clicked this link in the corner here and paid your Passover fee. Pay your Passover fee. Make your plans. Get to Atlanta. Anybody has a problem with the Passover fee, take that up with the Lord. All right. A lot of money goes into making all these things happen. It don't happen for free. You know, I see some of you individualites in your closet complaining on Facebook about the Passover fee. I don't know where you live, that there are venues that you can have for free, food that you can purchase for free, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, that $200 doesn't even do it. That's the mercy of Commanding General Yohana to try and make these things happen for the nation without charging us as much as he really should be, as much as we really should be contributing. And so everybody that's able to do it should also click that link and just donate whatever you can, because things cost money out here. This is real life. Y'all like to all think y'all John the Baptist, you know, in the wilderness with a camel hair suit on, eating nuts and berries. This is real life, and things cost money. With that said, we're going to get right back into it. In the Hebrew, in Exodus chapter 11 and verse 8. Where Radwa Kalibadika, Allah Aliyah wa Shathachwa, Layal Amar, Za'a Atha, Wakal Ha'im, Ashar, Baragalika, Wakharya, Khan Atazah, Wayataza, Ma'aim Paraya, Wakharya Ap. Verse 9, Wayamar Yahawal Mashal La'ah, Yashmai, Al Yakum Paraya, Lama'ain, Rabuath, Wapathia, Barataza, Matazarium. Verse 10. Wamasha wa Aran, Aishwa, Athkal, Hamapathium, Ha'Allah, Lapunya Paraya, wa Chazak Yahweh Athlab Paraya, wa La'ash Lach Ath Bunya Yasha'ala. Marataza, chapter 12 and verse 1. Wa Yamar Yahawal Masha wa Ala Haran, Barataza Matazarium, La Amar, verse 2. Hachadash, Hazal Lakum, Ra'ash, Hadashim, Rashwan, Hawa'alakum, Lachadasha, Hashanah, which this verse is saying, you hear that Ra'ash, that's the word that means the head or the beginning, and it's the reason that the letter Ra in the ancient Hebrew, which is a pictographical script, looks like a head, a man with a head. That's it, head beginning first. And so you hear this, that this month shall be the beginning of months to you. This is the rebirth. This is the new year. The new year does not happen in the dead of January in the middle of winter. That's the white man's culture, because he thinks that he can dictate how the earth works, that he can decide when the new year, even though it doesn't make sense to anybody. He can just decide. That's the white man. That's the arrogance of the white man. But for us, the new year begins in the springtime with a renewal. The Passover happens every year around this time, around April-ish. And that's around the same time that you know that the trees are blooming, the birds are coming out, the allergies are kicking up, the plants are starting to come up. Everything feels new. The weather's warming up. If you live up here in New York, everything feels new. You feel, you're coming out of that seasonal depression some of y'all deal with. Everything's new again. That's the new year. The scripture says this month that the Passover takes place and is the first of months, is the beginning for you. Verse 3. The Bawa al-Kal Aidath Yasha'ala La'amar Ba'aisha Lachadash Hazah Wa'chakwa Lacham Ayash Shala Bayath Bath Shala Bayath. Verse 4. Wa'am Yama'ai Habayath Ma'aith Masha Walachak Hawa'ah Washakanwa Akurab al Bayathwa Umakasaf Nabashath Ayash Lapya Akalwa Lakaswa al Hasha. And back to the English.
Verse 14.
That was 12 and verse 4.
12 and verse 4. You started on 11 and 8, correct?
Come. Exodus chapter 11 and verse 8 in the English. And all these thy servants shall come down unto me and bow down themselves unto me, saying, Get thee out, and all the people that follow thee. And after that, I will go out. And so to catch y'all up, this is talking about the plague of the firstborn, the death of the firstborn. And the last verse that we finished that last week, against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. And that was the whole point of these plagues, to put that difference, that distinction between the Egyptians getting it, and then right next to them, their neighbors not being touched. The Israelites who the Lord loves not being touched. Darkness, nothing. Locusts, nothing. Death, nothing. Because the Lord loves his people.
Oh. You started on 11 and 8, correct?
Correct.
And you finished off on what?
12 and 4.
Because I think something's jumping.
No.
Because 11 and 8
goes to 12 and 4.
It goes to 12 and 4.
Yeah.
And what you got?
Yeah.
Because I don't have that. So,
This is for everybody out there. We go through 7 every week in the Sabbath service. We go through 7 sets of 7 verses in the Hebrew and in the English. And y'all should join us week after week. We progress straight through. And so we've been following Moses. We were following Joseph before that. We were following Jacob before that. And we're learning all these fundamental stories in the scriptures. We're learning it from the Hebrew and all the context that gives you. And then we're breaking it down in the English, which is a beautiful thing.
I said a mistake. That's what I'm doing.
What?
I got it.
And so now the whole point of these plagues is to see that distinction between the Egyptians, who are oppressing the Lord's people, and the Israelites who the Lord loves. Verse 8, and all these thy servants shall come down unto me and bow down themselves unto me, saying, Get thee out, and all the people that follow thee, and after that I will go out. And he went out from Pharaoh in a great anger. So this is Moses telling Pharaoh, look, this is what's going to happen. And when it happens, you're going to want us up out of this land. You're not going to want to see us no more. Verse 9, and the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. So even though Pharaoh saw all these Moses told him these plagues were going to happen, and then they happened, he still did not believe him on this one. He didn't stop because the Lord hardened his heart. Verse 10, and Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh, and the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he would not let the children of Israel go out of his land. Remember, the scriptures say that took place so that the Lord's power could be shown, that it would be known that it wasn't Pharaoh's mercy, it wasn't Pharaoh's kindness, it wasn't even Pharaoh's self-preservation, because these things are attacking him. It was going to be known that it was just the power of the Lord that had these things that delivered Moses and the Israelites. Chapter 12:1, and the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you, which we just broke down in the Hebrew. And this is how the new year is supposed to start, in the springtime. Verse 3. I'm not going to let up on that, because that don't make no sense. Y'all go out every year and party up and get wasted and do ridiculous things on New Year's Eve, celebrating the new what? Celebrating a new what? What renewal? Because the white man told you it's a new year. That's it.
That's right.
That's it. You can't even come up with another reason. It's just because the white man told you. There's nothing new happening outside. It's 10 degrees and you nuts stand out in the middle of Times Square in 10 degrees peeing in a diaper so that some confetti can fall on you and you can see a ball drop and kiss a stranger and get a disease and have the flu for 2 weeks because you kissing strangers in the middle of Times Square with your drawers wet. Because the white man told you it's a new year. Good job. Good work. I hope you're proud of yourselves. Go tell your kids about that. Verse 3. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. So this is the breakdown of how we're celebrating the Passover. Verse 4, and if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your account for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. You shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and you shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. Well, we blew by verse 4. Back to the Hebrew. Salakia. Verse 5 in Hebrew. Shamathium, Sakar ban Shana, Yahaya Lakam man, Hakabashim, Waman Ha'izim, Akwachwa, verse 6, Wahaya Lakam, Lamashimarath, Aid Arbaya, Ashar, Yawam Lakadash, Hazah, Washakatwa, Athwa, Kal Kwahal, Aidath Yasha'ala, Bayan Ha'irabyum, verse 7, Walakwakwa Man Hadam, Wanathanwa, Al Shafia, Hamazwazath, Wa'al, Hamashquat, Al Habathium, Shar, Yakalwa, Athwa, Baham, verse 8, Wakalwa, Ath, Habashar, Balayala, Hazah, Fazalia, Ash, Matazwath, Al Merarium, Wakalawa, verse 9, Al Thakalwa, Mamunwa, Naah, Wabashal, Mabashal, Bamayum Kaya, Tazalia, Ash, Rashwa, Al Karaiwa, wa Al Korabwa, verse 10, Wala'ah, the Wathyarwa, Mamunwa, Aid Bakar, wa Nathar, Mamunwa, Aid Bakar, Ba'ash, the Sharapwa, verse 11, Wakaka, Dakalwa, Athwa, Mathunyacum, Chagarium, Naaliacum, Varagalicum, Mumaqualicum, Bayadcum, Wakalathcum, Athwa, Bachapazwan, Pasach, Hawa'ah, La Yahweh. Back to the English from verse 5. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. You shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and you shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper doorposts of the house wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. And they shall eat salakia. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire, his head with his legs, and with the purtenance thereof. And that sodden with water mean, obviously don't mean just like soggy. It means you're not boiling it in water. You're roasting the lamb with fire. Right. Verse 10, and you shall let nothing, you're not making lamb stew. All right. It's not, you can't just do whatever you want on the Passover. You can't just make whatever you want. You can't just, like it's not time to get creative. This is you eating this for the Lord. It's not your time to chef it up. Verse 10, and you shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning you shall burn with fire. So that's why the Lord said to gather together. If you didn't have enough people for the lamb, you join together with your neighbor, because we're not just wasting food. It's you eating this and then you ready to go. Because we're doing this today to remember exactly how it was in that day. This is a meal ready to get out. That's why you eat it in what we're about to read, with your loins girded and everything. Sir?
Well, Bob Gashar, get on book, chapter, and verse.
Where we at right now?
Yes.
We're at Exodus 12 and 10.
Exodus 12, chapter 10.
And then at verse 11, and thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And you shall eat it in haste. And it is the Lord's Passover. So everything we're doing in this meal is haste. The unleavened bread, the roasted lamb, the bitter herbs. It's to eat a meal and you ready to get out. You praying that you got to get out. You ready to get kicked out, to get thrust out. So back to the Hebrew from verse 12. By Barathia, Baratazah, Matazarium, Balayala Hazah, Wakayathia, called Bakwar, Baratazah Matazarium, Ma'adam, Wa'id, Bahama, Wabakal, Alahaya, Matazarium, Aisha, Shapatyum, Anya Yahweh. That's a great verse, and a lot of words in there that we see a lot. So, we should be picking up words at this point. Like Aratzah, we know his land. Matazarium, we should definitely know by this point it's Egypt. Layala is night, so when it says Ba Layala, means in the night. The Lord is about to send this plague. We see Bakawar, which is firstborn, Adam, which is man, Bahama, which is beast. Wabakal is call is all. That Wa, the beginning of the word, is in. The Ba is in or of. So Wabakal is in to all. Alahaya, we know is gods. We're talking about the gods of Egypt, or against these gods of Egypt. The Lord is going to execute Shapatyim, which is judgments. And that last phrase, why is all this true? Anya Yahweh. He said, because I'm the Lord. That's all you got to say. That's it. That's the bottom, and that's the bottom line to this whole Bible. If you understand that, thus saith the Lord, I am the Lord. That's it. This is happening because God wants it to happen. It's not for you to question or to wonder. or to ask why, you just follow the scriptures and do your job. That's what we're here for. That's what what's that? Ecclesiastes is the whole purpose of man.
That's right.
So so now that's verse 12. So we're gonna back to the where are we at? Verse 13.
Yep.
Wahaya hadam lakam la'ath al abathya mashar matam shom warayathya ath hadam or pasachathya alkum wala'a yahya bakam nagap lamashakiath bakathya baratza matazarium. Verse 14, Wahaya hayawam hazalakam lazakar one wachagathim athwa chag la Yahweh. That chag is feast, so it's a feast to the Most High. Chag la Yahweh, la Durathyakum, which is to all your generations. Chakwath, I will the Chagawa, verse 15. Shabbat Yom Matazwath. That's 7 Yom days, Matazwath of unleavened bread. Vakalwa Ak Vayawam Harashwan, which we said earlier is first. So this is about to say on the first day, you're going to get leaven out of your houses. Dashabayathwa, Sha'ar, Mabathikum, Kaya, Akal, Chamatza, which that Chamatza is leavening. So it's saying whoever eats leavening, Wanakaratha, which is shall be cut off. Hanapash. So that Napash is soul in this context is saying person, every soul, every Hanapash. Awa Maya Sha'ala from Israel, Maya Sha'ala. Mayawam Harashwan Aidiyawam Hashabaya. So from the first, Harashwan, Id until Yawam, the day, Hashabaya, the 7th day. Shabbai is 7. Verse 16, Wabayawam, Harashwan, Makura'ah Kwadash. That Makura'ah is the word for convocation because Korah is to call. So this is of calling. This is a calling together. Kwadash is holy. So it's a holy calling together. That's why we're all supposed to be in one place. This is literally what the word means. Wabayawam, Hashabyaya, Makurah, Kwadash, Yahaya, Lakum, Kal, Malakah, La'ah, Ya'isha, Bahum, Ak Ashar, Yakal, Akal, Napash, Ho'ah, Mabadwa, Ya'isha, Lakum. Verse 17, Washimaratham, Ath, Ha-Matazwath, Kaya, Ba'aitazam, Hayawam, Hazah, Hawatazathya, Ath, Hazaba'al, Tazba'athikum, Marataza, Matazarium, Washamaratham, Ath, Hayawam, Hazah, Ladarathicum, Chakwath, Ayulam. So this is Chakwath, which is a statute. Ayulam, forever. Verse 18, Barashwan, Barabaya, Aishar, Yawam, Lachadash, Ba'irab, Dakalwa, Matzath, Aidawam, Hachad, Waishayim, Ba'chadash, Ba'irab, and back to the English. Verse 12, for I will pass through the land of Egypt this night and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And against all the gods of Egypt, I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. And no, that's not off topic. We looking forward to seeing you too at the Passover, brother. We all looking forward to seeing each other. That's right on topic. Because the Passover is coming quickly, and this is telling us how we're supposed to celebrate it. We're supposed to be in one place as a nation, as a family, remembering exactly what this was like in this time of Moses. And it's a beautiful thing. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. So this is full of signs and symbols, because the Lord didn't need blood on the doors. He's the Lord. He knows who's who. He knew who was who when the darkness was over here and it was not dark over here, when the locusts and the frogs was in one house and the next house they was chilling. These are full of signs so that we knew that obedience keeps the Lord on our side, and that the Lord will let it be known that it's his power, not anybody else's. Not anybody else's decision, power, mercy, judgment, anything. It's the Lord's.
It's just Salakia, priest, if I may. And also the Passover is so important because the Passover let you remember what the Lord did, did for you when you was in captivity. You know what I mean? The Lord, the Lord unalive, your captive babies. That's what the Lord would do for you if you follow the Most High God. That's what it is. And, and our oppressor make us forget about slavery. Exactly. This is what the Lord remember. He was like, yo, remember the slavery. Remember what I did for you. When you was in captivity, when you was in slavery. Yeah. I unalive your slave master babies. So your slave master can let you go. Sloppy.
No, exactly. And that's it. And that's what we're here to remember. We're here to remember every aspect of this, because we're in, as the scripture tells us, we're in Egypt again. We're in modern day Egypt. That's all through the scriptures. It gets explicit when it says Sodom and Egypt. We know that. That's in Revelations. But that's all. It's all through the scriptures telling us that we're in Egypt. It's the same spiritual scenario. And we better be remembering that it's the Lord that brought us out of oppression then. It was not some goofy philosophy. It was sure as hell wasn't politicking and asking Pharaoh to be nice to us and electing the right representative to go to Pharaoh. It sure as hell was not politics that got us out of Egypt. And so we're here to remember every aspect of this. And it is the Lord and the Lord's power and the Lord's decision and obeying the Lord that gets us out. Shalom, Lord Christ. Verse 14, and this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. You shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day unto the seventh day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. Again, obedience, unity. Supposed to be one as a nation serving the Lord. You cannot do your own thing. You cannot decide that you're going to do it at a different time. You're going to do it later. Oh, my calculation of the calendar is different. You just do it. We're doing it together. We're doing it for the Lord. Just do it. And that's directly at all you individualites in your bedroom looking at videos of brothers saying these same things and seething, upset. Y'all got some crazy nerve to say this, the ISUPK that's divided. But we're the only ones that's united. Unity doesn't come from being a soft, weak, effeminate person and just saying that you can do what you want to do and we still going to be united. How you going to be united doing two different things? That makes zero sense. That's not unity. You can't be united just because you say that it's okay. Just because you see somebody doing something completely different and you say that's okay, we still brothers. No, that's not unity. That's silly. The ISUPK are the only ones teaching real unity. Real unity means you got to be on one accord, doing the same thing to serve the Most High. It's that simple. If your pride is more important, if you thinking that the Passover is on a different day is more important than being with your brothers, then you're the one being divisive. It's that simple. And in the first day there shall be an holy convocation, and in the seventh day there shall be an holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat. That only may be done of you. Which is a reminder that the Sabbath and the laws against working are not instituted to cause you to starve and go homeless and die. The Sabbath is made for the man, not the other way around. Verse 17, and you shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this self-same day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall you observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. And the word that we saw here for observe is based on the word shamar, which if you're in this school, you know is the word for to guard or protect. And we are to guard this ordinance and guard this feast throughout our generations by keeping it the right way. Verse 18, in the first month, on the 14th day of the month that evening, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month that evening. And back to the Hebrew. Verse 19. Vice yum yum ashar la'ah yamatzah babatikum kaya call machmatazah manakuratha on the pash hawa'ah ma'idas yasha'ala bagar wabazarah haratazah. Verse 20. Call machmatazah Takal wa bakal, Mashabasikum, Makalwa, Mazawath, verse 21, Wakura, Mashal, Lakal, was Zaquanya, Yasha'ala, Wayamar, Alahum, Mashakwa, Makwakwa, Wakam Zan, Lamashabakathikum, Washakatwa, Habasach, verse 22, Olaquakathum, Agadath, Azawab, Washabalathum, Badum, Ashar, Basap, Wagaithum, Al, Hamashquat, Wal Shathya, Hamazwazath, Man Hadam, Ashar, Basap, Wathum La'av, Latazawa, Ayash, Apathak, Bayathwa, Id Bakwar. 23. Ibar, Yahweh, Lanagap, Asmatazarium, Bara'ah, Ashadam, Al Amashakuat, Wa'al Shafya, Hamazwazath, Wabasak, Yahweh, Al HaPathach. And that Pasach, of course, is to pass over. Wapasak, Yahweh, Al HaPathach, which is the door. The Lord will pass over the door. Wala'ah, Yathun, Hamashakiat, which is that's the Salaki, I want to use the same phrase over here. That's the destroyer. Ha Mashakias. Laba'a al Bathikum Lanagat, verse 24. Washamar Thumb, Ath, Adabar, Hazah, Lachat, Laka, Alabunyaka, Id Awalam. Wa la bunyaka, Id Awalam, to your sons forever. Verse 25. Waya Kaya, Gabawa, Al Rataza, Ashar, Yathan Yahweh, Lakum, Kashar, the bar, Washamarathum, Ath, Haibadya, Haibada, Hazath. And back to English from verse 19. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses, for whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. Ye shall eat nothing leavened. In all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families and kill the Passover. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the 2 side posts with the blood that is in the basin. And none of you shall go out at the door of his house until the morning. For the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians. And when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the 2 side posts, the Lord will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite. And ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever. And it shall come to pass when ye be come to the land which the Lord will give you, according as he hath promised, that ye shall keep this service. And so everything in this scripture is about obedience. It's about doing this the right way, according to what the Lord said and the Lord laid down. We got a question. Oh, hey, our favorite Muslim is back in the chat. Look who's back. I don't understand how a few weeks ago you claimed to say us Muslims who pray in public are doing so for personal gain, yet you're here online on a channel of 5.84 thousand subs. Hey, the water to the Muslim for shouting out our 5,000 subs on this channel. You are right. And you should subscribe to and start learning. You should be the next subscriber. You should keep coming back, be humble, and learn for a change. And learn something righteous for a change. Drop all that nonsense. We've been telling you for weeks that it's garbage. We put you on blast, what was it, 2 weeks ago, for defending your prophet having a 9-year-old wife. You defended that. You had to stand behind that. Doesn't that embarrass you? Doesn't that humiliate you to have to stand behind your prophet marrying a 9-year-old? Aren't you ashamed of that? Isn't that hard for you to look yourself in the mirror and say that you have to defend your prophet marrying a 9-year-old? Doesn't that make you toss and turn at night? Don't that make you shiver? You ain't got no shame. But you talking about us praying online. This is a part of the Sabbath service. Yes, the scriptures say that the actual scriptures, Christ says that you're supposed to go in your closet and your prayers are between you and the Lord. And that's your personal prayers. And there are also times when we all pray together as a nation. You all do it in the middle of the street. You all smack your head on the pavement and stop traffic to make sure that everybody sees you. 5 times a day, you pray in the middle of the street, and you're comparing that to a Sabbath service. That's silly, and you know it's silly. But I understand that you're trying, because 2 weeks ago, you had to come in here and defend your prophet being with a 9-year-old. We will be talking about this week. Because 2 weeks ago, we left your comment up on the screen for half the service. It was so goofy. But it's normal for you Muslims. You have to do that. You can't get around it because that's who you follow. Well, thank the Most High that we don't follow men who sleep with 9-year-old girls. Back to the scriptures.
All right.
And back to the Hebrew in verse 26. Wachaya kaya yamarwa aliakum bunyakum mahai bara hazathlakum. Verse 27. Wa marathum zabach pasach hawa la Yahweh ashar pasach al bunya yasha'ala wa matazarium banagapwa as matazarium wa as Bathinawa, Hatazial, Wayaquad, Ha'aim, Wayashathakwa, verse 28, Wayalakwa, Wayaishwa, Bunya Yasha'ala Kashar, Hazawa, Yahweh, Asmashah, Waharan, Khan, Aishwa, verse 29, Wayahaya, Bakatazia, Halayala, La Yahweh, Haka, Kal Bakawar. This is saying it came to pass while Yahaya at midnight, Halayala, we just talked about that's at night, while Yahweh and the Most High, Haka, struck, Kal Bakawar, all the firstborn. And we're talking about a God that loves us as a people so much that he delivered us from slavery in the most violent way possible to let it be known that it was his power. And you in here defending some illiterate camel jockey that married a 9-year-old, brother. Get right, brother. Baratazam Mabakar Paraya Hayashab Al Kasawa Ai Bakawar Hashabya Ashar, Babayath, Habawar Wakal, Bakawar, Bahama, verse 30, Wayakum, Paraya, Layala Hawa'a, Wakal Ibadua, Wakal Matazarium, Wasaya, Kazaikwa, Gadala, Bamatazarium, Kaya, Ayun, Bayath, Ashar, Ayun Shumath. Verse 31, Wayakura Lamasha, Walaharan, Layala Wayamar, Kwawumwa, Pazawa, Mathuak, Aim Yagum, Athum, Gumbunya Yasha'ala, Walakwa Ibadwa, Ath Yahweh, Kadabarkum, verse 32, Gum Taza'ankum, Gum Bakwarkum, Kwakwa Kashar, Dabarthum, Walakwa, Wabarakathum, Gum Athia. And back to the English from verse 26. And it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, what mean ye by this service? That ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses. And the people bowed the head and worshiped. And so we're to remember that this is to be passed on. We just talked about the use of the word shamar when it said you shall keep this feast. This is to be guarded and kept and passed on to our children. The meaning of this. Everything about every aspect of this. Verse 28, and the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. So did they. And it came to pass that at midnight, the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians. And there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, rise up and get you forth from among my people, both ye and the children of Israel, and go serve the Lord as ye have said. Also take your flocks and your herds as ye have said, and be gone, and bless me also. Because remember, Pharaoh kept trying to negotiate who was going. First he said, all right, you can go, leave the animals behind. And he kept on trying. And the Lord said that by the time this last plague was done, Pharaoh was going to say, yo, get out. just get out, take everybody, get out. I don't want to see you no more. And that's finally what happened. And the Lord kept his heart hardened until then to make this be shown, to let it be known. And so we're going to go back to the Hebrew.
You on set 6, right?
Count them.
All right.
From verse 33. Watha Chazak, Matazarium al Ha'aim, Lamahar, Lashalchum, Munharatazah Kaya, Amarwa, Kalnawa, Mathim. Verse 34. Waisha Ha'aim Ach, Batazakwa, Turum, Yachamatazah, Masharathum, Tazarath, Lashamothum, Al Shakamum, verse 35. Wabunya Sha'ala, Aishua Kadabar, Masha, Waya Sha'alwa, Mamatazarium, Kalya Kasap, Wakalya Zahab, Mashamallath, verse 36. Wayahawa Nathun, Ath Hun Ha'im, by Yunya Matazarium, Wayashalium, Wayanatazalwa, Ath Matazarium, verse 37. Wayasaiwa, Bunya Sha'ala, Maraimzus, Sakatha, Kashasha, Ma'awath, Alap, Regalia, Hagabarium, Labad, Matap, verse 38. Wagum Irab, Rab Ilah, Athum, Watazan, Wabakwar, Makwana, Kabad, Ma'ad, verse 39. Wayapwa Ath, Habatazak, Ashar, Hoataziyo, Ya'awa, Mamatazarium, Igath, Matazwath, Kaya, La'ah, Kamataza, Kaya, Garashwa, Mamatazarium, La'ah, Yakalwa, Latha Mahama, Wagum Tazadah, La'ah, Aishua Lahum, verse 40. Slack. That's back to the English from verse 33. And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste. For they said, we be all dead men. Because at this point, remember, they was already coming to Pharaoh a couple of chapters ago saying, yo, what's next? What are you bringing upon us? Get rid of these people. But Pharaoh's heart was hardened at this point. He said, what's next? This is the plague. Now you got all our firstborn. We're already, the cattle are all dead. All their livestock are dead. Their crops are all dead. Their firstborn are dead. They said, what's next? Verse 34, and the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading troughs being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders. And so this is why we remember the unleavened bread, because we were rushed out so much. They wanted us out at this point. And so we were just taking the dough before it was leavened and just throwing everything on our shoulders and getting out. Verse 35, and the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians. And that was the prophecy that we started out with, that we was going to leave out of here with all of their gold and all of their jewels and everything. And they wanted it. They said, just get out. Verse 37, and the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men besides children. So you can imagine this mass of 600,000 just men, besides the women and children. Verse 38, and a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle. Verse 39, and they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt and could not tarry neither had they prepared them for themselves any victual. So like we were saying, every aspect of this, everything that went down is all spiritual, and we're to remember every aspect in how we keep the Passover. Back to the Hebrew. From verse 40. Mawashab, Bunya Yasha'ala, Lashar Yashabwa, Bamatazarium, Shalashim Shana, Wa Arabai, Ma'awath Shana, verse 41, Wahaya Makwatza, Shalashim Shana, Wa Arabai, Ma'awath Shana, Wa Yahaya, Ba'aitazam, Hayawam Hazah, Yatazawa, Kal, Tazabawath, Yahweh Marataza Matazarium, verse 42. Layala Shamarium, Hawa'ah, La Yahweh, La Watazayim, Marataza Matazarium, Hawa'ah, Alayala Hazah, La Yahweh, Shamarium, Lakal Bunya Sha'ala, La Derathim. Verse 43, Wayamar Yahweh al Mashah, Waharan, Za'as Hakwath, Habasach Kal, Bun Nakar, La'ah, Yakal Bawa, verse 44, Wakal Ibad, Ayash, Makunath Kasap, Umalatha, Aswa Az, Yakal Bawa, verse 45, Yawashab, Mashakiyar, La'ah, Yakal Bawa, verse 46, Babayath, Achad, Yakal La'ah, Luataziyah, Mun, Habayath, Mun Habashar, Chawatzah, Wa'aitazam, La'ah, the Shabarwa, Bawa. Back to the English from verse 40. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. 41. And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the self same day it came to pass, that all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. It is a night to be much observed unto the Lord for bringing them out of the land of Egypt. This is that night of the Lord to be observed of all the children of Israel in their generations. And just like we spoke about at the beginning, that is exactly what we're about to do in Atlanta. Shout out to that. And everybody watching any of our videos should be there. Should click that link up in the corner, pay your Passover fee, which is less than what it actually costs you, and get to Atlanta, because we are to be in one place doing this as one nation, as one family, exactly as the Lord commanded, not in your basement, not in your kitchen, not with some lamb over rice that you got from the halal cart. We're to be in one place doing this exactly as the scripture said. Verse 43, and the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. But every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. A foreigner and an hired servant shall not eat thereof. In one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth aught of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall ye break a bone thereof. And that's where we're going to leave off this week, and we're going to finish this next week as we break down the Passover from the Hebrew, with the Passover quickly coming up upon us. Imagine up here, which means horn. Yeah, yun, which means wine. La Yasha'ala, which means to Israel. Shapar. I'm out in the room, so Punyakadum means rise, turn and face the east. The Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, Abinawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Pradashaya, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakaka, Taba'ar, Tazaka, Haya, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Nathunwanawa, Wacham, Kalawam, Wasalakanawa, Kawakana, Kasalakanawa, Kawakanawa, Wala'a, Tabayanawa, Sawan, Abal, Habashanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wahala, Wakaparath, Lawalam, Amen. In the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Pray for the power of the Hebrew. Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua, Babu Kasha, Nathunano, Hakak, Hakak, Larpa, Kol Makala, Wakol Marawa, Hakak, Latahar, Hamatazariah, Hakak, Lakwayum, Hamatu, Hakak, Alakawa, Hatamala, Lagarashun, Hashem Yahushua, the water Amen. In the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahushua, thank you. So be it. Psalm 121 in the Hebrew. Ashai Yanya, Al-Hahari, Ma'yan, Yaba'ai Zari, Azari, Ma'ayin, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Warataza, Aliyathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Ayanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'ayanawam, Wa'la'aya Yashan, Shawamar Yasha'ala, Yahweh Shamarka, Yahweh Tazalka, Aliyad Yamyunka, Yomam, Hashamash, La'aya Kaka, Wayrach Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makal Ra, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Tazafka, Babuaka, Ma'aitha, Wa'ada Walam. In the English, I will lift up mine eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth and even forevermore. Psalm 83 in the Hebrew. Al-Hayy, Al-Dimyalika, Al-Karash, Wal-Tashakwat, Allah, Kayahana, Al-Yabika, Yahamayuwa, Omashanayika, Nash'awa, Ra'ash, Al-Aimika, Yariyumba, Tawad, Waythayatazwa, Al-Zabawanyika, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakira, Magoya, Wala'a, Yazakar, Shum Yasha'al, Iwa, Kaya, Nawaitiswa, Lab Yakadu, Aliyaka, Barya, Yakarafwa, Ahalia, Adawam, Washamalia, Moaba, Wahagari, Gabal, Wa'amwan, Wa'amalak, Halashak, I'm Yashabia, as a war, Gamash war, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zarwa, Labanyawa, Salah, Ashalaham, Kamadim, Kasayasara, Kayabin, Bakal, Koyashwan, Nashamadu, Bayandar, Hayawa, Daman, Ladama, Shatamwa, Nadiyamua, Kaira, Wakazab, Wakazabak, Wakazalmana, Kalanasai Kamu, Ashar, Amaru, Nerashah, Lanawa, Nawa, Alahai, Alahaya, Shatamwa, Kagaga, the Quash, the Sunny Rakab, the Ash, the Irie Ira, the Kalahaba, the Lahat, Hardy, the Contra the Sirika, the Sopaka, the Bahalum, Mala'a, Punya, for one, Wabaquashwa, Shemka, Yahaw, Yabashwa, Wabahaw, Adi, Wahaparu, Wayabadwa, Wayadaiwa, Kaya, Ata, Shemka, Yahaw, Lavadka, Aliwan, I'll call her Rataza. In the English, keep not thou silence on my power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still on my power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gebal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. The sword also is joined with them. They have hope with the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kisan, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like a red, and like Zeb. Yea, all their princes as Zabah. And there's Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of the Most High in possession. O my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempests, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O your help, let them be confounded in trouble forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. Prayer for the power structure in the Hebrew, Barakatah Yahweh. Why Yahweh Shah? Why Mayakal? Why Lahai? Matazabia Alawap Yahan. Ha Alawap. Ha Shrun. Ha Pusiyan. Ha Khayali. Waha Kwafi. Yahweh. Bashim Yahweh Shah. The what Amen. In the English, bless you Yahweh. And Yahweh Shah. And Mike. And the angels. Commanding General Yohanan. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. And assistants. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shah. Thank you. So be it. Prayer for the prophesied persons. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shah, listen to us now, right now. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us. Thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school, send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the school, force their riches, enter into thy sanctuaries, send evils and curses, punishment and destruction to the Edomites and the nations, and their drug dealers, the court system, prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Posse Comitatus, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space programs, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet, any airwaves, cable access channels, and the radio channels, convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues, cause them go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Yep, let Yahweh, Michael and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathens that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media, throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahweh, thank you always. So be it. Song face the front. I'm going to give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, I imagine Shabbat. I imagine Barak. Yahweh, Shah, as we tie, that concludes the Sabbath service. We'll pick up next week at verse 47.